child. I'm a boy child.
You're a man child.
I'm a man boy.
We get a little man childish around here at times.
Yeah. See the Hitler figure?
They knew I was so hard. All right, traders. Welcome back. It is episode 17. Everything's late and nobody dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still holds true.
Was everything late?
I mean, everything ships late. You know. I mean, I got my shipment on time this week, but there's a bunch of stuff that's supposed to come out this week that won't come out for another week, or whatever. Just more scheduling stuff. Everything's late than like UPS being late.
I've been seeing that a lot with publishers. I wouldn't think they'd do that too. A lot of image stuff coming out much later, and from what I understand, it's not image that's the problem. It's for whatever reason. Diamond just wants to put out what they want to put out when they put it out.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is. I don't understand it.
But you would think that image, that would be one that they wouldn't want to mess with at this point.
That's kind of their last biggie.
Yeah. Dark Horse is getting up there again.
Yeah, Dark Horses, but I mean, I in terms of like big publishers, it's gonna be Image. They're the ones that are gonna carry the more, more of the weight there. Yeah. Are we gonna do the podcast?
Well, we've been going for like 5 minutes now.
Oh, I thought we were just shooting the show.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, hi.
That's how we do the podcast.
Bye. Yeah. Take care. Cut this out. I don't want people thinking I care about people.
Certainly not those customers.
God, no, man. Take care of yourself. Let me know, okay? All right. Thanks, you guys.
That is the audience participation portion of...
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got that on there, man. People are going to think I'm nice. This is awful. This is a terrible situation.
So, big sale at Black Cat this month.
Big sale at Black Cat this month. Absolutely.
So this is really cool. In a day and age where you go into an LCS and everything is, and they're pricing right off of eBay in most cases. Like, you do this 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah, a couple times.
Go through and every back issue 50% off. All your trade paperbacks. Is that
graphic novels, trade paperbacks, hardcovers, manga, like the all ages stuff. They're all half off. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's kind of impressive.
I used to do it 4 times a year, and I did it for a weekend. So I would do it, Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
Tons of people, and they're like, "Oh my God, yeah, this guy Brooke would come in all." Oh no. We used to do it like one weekend, and with COVID, it's like I didn't want all those people in here on 2 days. I mean, I
right.
literally, like, legally couldn't pack the place like that.
Yeah.
So during COVID, I decided, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to do it for like a whole month. And as it turns out, that also gives me time to replenish and restock and get my back issue stuff out. Things like that. So all the overstock I've got, I'm pricing like crazy and putting out. And, people can come in like once a week and check for stuff.
And it's always refreshing.
And it's always, and it's nice because, we're restocking it, we're putting stuff up, we're doing all kinds of stuff. So
I think it's really interesting. I work with a few dozen comic shops across the nation with the pressing service. And most of them, I mean, we've had maybe 10 have closed down in the last month.
Oh, yeah.
And because, I mean, it is what it is. You called it. I was a little more hesitant, but we're crashing.
Correct predictions.
It's more than, at this
more
point,
than a correction.
More than a correction.
Yep.
We're seeing it affect blue chips, which I didn't think was going to happen, but not a lot. But prices on New Mutants 98s come down a bit.
Oh yeah.
Certainly the Carnage stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I had a New Mutants 98 that was, I think it was a 9.0, and sold for like $280. They're an auction. You know, a year ago that would have been $700, $700.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it. I don't care. You know what I mean? I just want to sell the stuff.
Well, you do it a lot different. So you get told, or we get told a lot, that if you want to be involved in the comic book, you know, in the comic book world, opening a shop is not going to work. And certainly opening a shop where all you sell is comic books will never work.
I've been told that for 2 decades now.
And that's all you do.
That's all I do.
Absolutely all you do.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not to knock anybody else's model. When I had my shop open, we sold a lot of Magic cards. We sold a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, that was probably our biggest seller was Dungeons and Dragons.
But that's, you know, that's stuff that you know about.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you're passionate about that. And I'm not passionate about that. I'm passionate about comics.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting that you can price a quarter. You're priced at a quarter of what most of these shops are priced at to begin with, and then 4 times a year you go a month at half that, and and you're able to keep the doors open. And
I mean, you know, I always figure my business model has always been, you know, instead of getting one person in and paying $50 for a $10 book, I would like them to buy 10 $5 books at $5 a piece, and then they come back every week.
Right.
I mean, you know, or every month, or every couple months, or every couple of days, you know. I mean, the comic, like, retail comic world is, it's hi. It's you know,
very
it's like
heavy audience participation.
I know there's a lot today.
Yeah, you got me hooked on all sorts of weird shit.
See, there you go. There you go. Yeah.
That is fuck about but then now I have things like Twig.
Yeah.
Oh, Twig is brilliant.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
Unsolicited, right there. By the way, testimonial. I just want to tell you. I just want to say that. Okay, it's not. Yeah. You get 10% off all your whole books today. Okay, it's gonna be fun. Actually, what the hell? Half off all this stuff out here too. You go. No, but you know, I mean, and I want, you know, it's a long game. A comic shop, a retail shop is a long game. You know,
right.
It's a nickel and dime, long-term situation. You know, I mean, I've got people here that opened holds when my store opened. I've got people that have been coming here for 18 years.
Wow.
You know, I mean, I've got one customer who started coming here when he was, I think he was 11 or 12, and he would come in with his parents. You know, and his parents would buy him all kinds of stuff, you know, and he's like, "Oh, this is cool. I love Spider-Man," you know, and like all this jazz. And you know, he got older. He went on a mission for 2 years. His parents would come in and get his stuff for him, save it till he got home. You know, he got home from his mission. He's got kids now. You know, so he and his now wife and his kids come in. I mean, you know, it's like cool. Generations of comic readers I'm seeing now. And I like, it's probably just because I'm old, but I like to think that it's because I'm able to keep customers for more than a month. You know, I mean, now, and you know, that being said, nobody's going to be happy all the time. You know what I mean? I'm going to piss people off, and that's just the way it goes. And, you know, if I do, I'm sorry. I mean, there's nothing, you know what I mean? There's nothing I can do about that. I try to make everybody happy, but it's just, that's an impossibility. I think you and I both know that. Yeah. No matter what your job is, or, you know, whatever it is. But yeah, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love. And I've had to, with all the difficulties of this industry lately, you know, in the last year or so, then I've really had to put my personal stuff and my business stuff. There's a wall. There's just a wall. Right. The only time that a wall has worked. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I did not mean to bring that in. No, you know, I mean, I put a wall up between my private stuff, my collection, you know, the stuff that I read, the stuff that I have at home that I like. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, this is my passion. Okay. And at work, I could use that passion for this stuff to sell the other stuff. Like, nothing in here, I'm going to look at and be like, because if I do that, I already have it.
Right.
This is stuff I have to separate myself from. I have to be like, okay, get this stuff out of here and sell it. And with everything that's been going on, that's what I've had to do in the last little bit, because it's been a very difficult couple of years in the comic industry.
Right. Well, and I think it's really interesting to me that a lot of the shops that I see struggle are the shops that you'll see them on Whatnot. They're a comic book shop, but you'll see them on Whatnot selling Pokemon cards and doing the fun little games where you open them up and all kinds of weird stuff going on there. Nothing wrong with that. I sell Pokemon cards and I like opening the packs. I find that fun.
Yeah, but you don't have a brick and mortar comic book store.
Right. But when it comes to what makes your business viable, I think it's because, one, you read the books. Mm-hmm. Like, you probably read more comics than anybody I know. And so when somebody comes in, they want to know what's on the wall, what new book to pick up. Yeah. You know what's up there.
I really try.
And there's a lot of those people that are doing it. They don't have time because they're busy opening Pokemon cards. They're busy playing Dungeons and Dragons, and there's nothing wrong with that.
There's zero wrong with that. But that can't be your business if you're going to have a comic store.
Yeah. And especially a comic store this size. I mean, you've got I do a weekly video of what's coming out in 3 weeks, and then I come in here on Wednesdays and I'm doing the running the wall on Wednesdays, and you pick up books that I didn't know existed. Mm-hmm. Like you're searching out, you're finding books that nobody else even thought would exist.
And that's how I'm able to do it, though, because I just concentrate on comics.
Yeah.
If I was opening Pokemon cards, or if I was having gaming tournaments and stuff, and again, there's zero wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just not where my passion lies. So, I mean, if I was doing all that other stuff, I wouldn't be able to go through previews 2 or 3 times a month and, really get in depth with stuff, and I'm happily able to, when I'm doing my initial orders, I'll have my holds pulled up and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, this is something that somebody does, and I know that so-and-so reads their other book, so I'll order an extra few and I'll try them on this, I'll put them in, you know what I mean? And it's just like, I'm able to do that, which is nice. And for the most part, I'd say 95% of the time, people are like, oh God, I didn't even know that was coming out. That's great. Thank you. Yeah.
And you're not really geared for those spec customers.
I mean, I'm not, but I mean, we've talked about spec and, stuff like that. I mean, ad nauseum, but at the same time, if somebody comes in, I've got 30 copies of Amazing Fantasy sitting there, and they're like, can I buy 20? I'm going to be like, yes.
Right.
Sure, as long as everybody that has it on their hold and everybody that wants it gets it, yeah. Right. I mean, I'm not above taking that money, because I am a business at the end of the day, I mean, I want to make sure everybody's finding stuff that they want, but, I mean, at the same time, I'll accommodate any kind of collector you are. I've got people that come in and buy stuff for the covers. I've got people that come and buy all the metal comics and stuff like that. I've got people that just collect old Disney stuff. I've got people that don't read anything and just collect stuff because they think it's cool. I've got so many different types of collectors. And I do have people that come in and they're like, I've probably had 5 people in the last week say, hey, do you have any Silver Age Fantastic Four stuff? And I'm like, well, I'd never seen you before. And gee, I can't imagine what your, motivations might be. But whatever, man. If I got them, their money's just as good as you or anybody else in here. The money's just fine.
You don't have any Silver Age Fantastic Four stuff
not anymore,
do you?
No, I do not.
Wow, that's hot right now.
Yeah. And I mean, I've got some... and I've got a lot of Bronze Age stuff I've been getting in. And I've got some Silver Age stuff I've been getting in. I put out some, Silver Age Batman stuff literally day before yesterday, they're all gone.
Oh, you're not even through that big collection yet, are you?
Not all the way, no.
Wow.
Not all the way, and there might be another one coming.
Well, you picked up 2 or 3 in the last month. Larger collection.
A lot of stuff, yeah. And a lot of Silver Age stuff, they're gone like that.
Yeah.
They go so quickly because you can't find them, and you can't find them at a
you
good
say
price.
that, but there's books in these boxes that I've passed over a few times. That some good Silver Age stuff that's out there. You've got an Addams Family over there. I can't believe it's still there. It's been there for 3 weeks already. Mm-hmm. Like an original Addams Family.
Yeah.
I keep thinking I'm going to buy it.
Well, today might be the day during that sale. Half off sale, man.
So what's going on?
Yeah.
Filling out the G.I. Joes.
There you go. I think this is a really good episode. I like interviewing myself. This is fun. This is good, huh?
Yeah.
Oh no, your G.I. Joes. You got to be getting close.
I'm getting pretty close. Most of my 1 through 100 are done. There's a few stragglers in there. I got all the big ones, so
those older ones can be, or those higher number ones can be a little spendy too.
They can because the print run was so low right before IDW took it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it was G.I. Joe featuring Snake Eyes.
Yeah,
G.I. Joe wasn't enough by itself. It had to feature Snake Eyes.
Yeah, the cards and the polybags and the posters and everything. Yeah.
I'm glad that we don't do polybags anymore.
Oh God, right. So this is going back to what I was just saying. Everybody knows about the sale, right? Yes, no, yes, no, yes. Okay. 50% off back issues and all graphic novels. That includes manga, all ages. Yeah, see, that is the correct response. That is right. Oh no! It's interactive. It's great.
Yeah, we're completely interactive. All right.
Okay. What do we got? What do we got next?
Did you watch Predator? Prey?
Yeah, loved it.
Loved it.
Loved it.
I was really surprised.
Yeah.
I was really surprised with that one. I wasn't expecting to like it, but I really did like it.
I was expecting to like it like I like Predator movies, which are, I love Predator movies. I love them. I love Alien movies, okay? But in my opinion, the first Alien was amazing. Everything, and the third one I thought was amazing because it was so dark and just it hit you over the head. There's such a weight on you when you're watching it. Aliens, I love Aliens, but it's a dumb, cliche, brainless action movie with some monsters.
Yeah.
Which is what most of the Predator movies are too. I love the first Predator, but it's a dumb movie. Make it time to bleed. That's a stupid line, but it's so funny and so great. You know what I mean? It's just yeah.
Well, and everybody's saying it's the best Predator movie since Predator 1.
I think it's better than Predator 1. It's a better movie.
Far better than Predator 1.
The acting is better. The writing is better. Everything is better in it.
I'm not a fan of... Well, okay, I'm a fan of the first Predator, but Predator 2 was a much better movie.
Oh, I would agree, yeah. It had a plot. It had actors.
Yeah.
It didn't just have, bodybuilders that are shooting guns in the jungle.
Right.
Which I love that first movie. But that's all it was.
The one thing it didn't have is Jesse Ventura. That was the
you
best
know it,
part.
brother? No, that's the wrong wrestler.
No, that's wrong.
Sorry.
Wrong wrestler.
Whatever, it doesn't matter.
I've been really getting into wrestling lately.
Yeah?
I don't watch new wrestling, because I don't care. But I've been watching documentaries about old wrestlers.
Oh, I love documentaries
kind of
about
stuff.
it. I don't like wrestling. I think wrestling is completely dumb. But I love watching... Oh, sorry. So that was my...
That was the
post-hypnotic.
revelation.
That was my post-hypnotic suggestion that
That's
I always
our
have to look at the
revelation
ceiling. Yes. No, I love. I could like I can't sit and watch a wrestling match.
I don't think I could.
You know what I mean?
anymore.
I could not do it. But one of my favorite shows is that Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh yeah.
God, I love that. You know, and I love like looking at stupid stuff on YouTube, like the worst wrestling gimmicks or wrestlers that should have retired, or you know whatever, man. And you just, I mean, you got. The guy that tries to break through the wall and falls on his face,
Yeah, I've been watching.
Stuff's funny.
I've been watching a lot of that stuff lately. I don't watch like classic matches, so they'll show parts of it, and that's cool.
Yeah.
And I was really into wrestling when I was younger.
I watched it quite a bit when I was a kid.
When we were junior high age, it was with the Hulkster and Cyndi Lauper getting thrown around.
Oh
the
my
ring.
God, yeah. But I mean,
Captain Lou.
Yeah, but who was in that, man? Okay, you had Cyndi Lauper.
They were
in it,
superheroes, man.
and you had Alice Cooper that showed up during it. And it was when they started taking so many steroids. I liked it when there were like rock stars. It was a comedy show, and there were just a bunch of fat dudes in shorts, like slapping each other. That was funny, man. See, man. But now it's just like, it's like the bro league of steroids.
Well, that was our.
And it's like, geez, no, thank you.
That was our MCU. That was our superheroes on TV.
Yep, that's true.
Live action superheroes.
Very true.
Like even as a teenager, when I saw the Captain America movies and the Spider-Man movies and Roger Corman's Fantastic Four and all of this
I
stuff.
call it Roger Corman's Four. There's not a lot that's fantastic about it.
There's very, very little fantastic going on in that movie. But when I was watching that kind of stuff, the actual superhero stuff, I knew. You watch that, you're like, man, this is hokey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not Spider-Man. That's not Spider-Man. And so when, I was about to say Toby Keith's Spider-Man.
Toby Keith's Spider-Man. Put a web up your butt. Go bless Queens, not me.
But when Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out, I was like, I'm not. I want nothing to do with a live-action Spider-Man. They cannot do live-action, and they did a great job.
They did a great job, yeah.
Because I didn't really care for the X-Men stuff.
See, I really liked it because it was, I liked it, and they did not age well.
No.
They look cheesy and hokey, but I will say that it's some of the most important stuff, like that and Spider-Man and the 80s Batman, the Michael Keaton Batman stuff, those were really important, I think, because, you started, like, you started with that cheesy stuff, with people with costumes that looked like an Alex Ross painting come to life. They're just wrinkly and, just an average guy and maybe a little bit of a padded suit, and whatever, And then, you got the X-Men and the Spider-Man and the Batman stuff, and even though, Michael Keaton had a padded suit, but, they made it more believable.
I think Batman certainly did.
Yeah,
right?
and it's like
Spider-Man,
and I think the X-Men did too, though, because they don't have bright colors. They don't have, it wasn't goofy.
I think my biggest problem with the X-Men is, for some reason, the one X-Men character that really resonated with me as a teenager was Cyclops. Mm-hmm. He's the one I like. I'm probably the only one that feels that way.
Sad Clots, you mean?
But he wasn't. He was a badass in the 80s.
Okay.
Like, at least
good for you.
I'm in love with a clone. I haven't read
My wife did in
X-Men in
space.
so many years. I probably stopped reading X-Men in 92, 93. So I don't know much of anything. X-Factor.
During the tarnished golden days.
Yeah.
No, X-Factor was great.
The first
I loved X-Factor.
40, 50 books of that run were really good.
I mean, I even liked it past then. I even liked it, like, I didn't like the art, but I liked when it was like the government team with Mystique and Sabretooth and all that. I liked that. I thought that was cool. Multiple Man.
Know nothing about it.
That was really cool. It was, Joe Madureira art, which I don't like. Or no, he did the X-Men. I can't remember who was doing the X Factor. Oh, Jeff Matsuda, I think. Not good.
Yeah.
But I thought Will Portacio's pencils on X Factor were great.
There's really not a lot of
Butch
artists.
Guys, Jackson Guys, whatever his name is.
There's not a lot of Marvel artists from that time period that really stand out.
I think my favorite from around that era was probably John Buscema. Just his Wolverine stuff was so cool. So cool.
He's still kind of an underrated artist, in my opinion.
Yeah, man, you know, I mean, it's.
I think
you know,
Buscema deserves to be up there with the
Yeah.
greats, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel he's kind of getting a raw deal, man, because you know, as much as I like Herb Trimpe's Hulk stuff, you know, and people hold him up as like this amazing, like legendary, like, oh my God, this guy just defined the 70s and the 80s, and you know what I mean? Which he did on the Hulk, right?
Right.
And I really do like his stuff, and I was, you know, fortunate enough to meet him and hang out with him for a little while throughout a day or two at a smaller con years ago, right before he died. And he's such a nice guy. He was such a good guy. You know? He and his wife were absolutely awesome. But then when Buscema died, you know, it's like I thought that people would start holding him up as well, but they never did.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why, man, because, you know, his old Avengers stuff,
Oh, yeah.
like,
Beautiful.
man, you know, it's so, I mean, they rightfully so, hold George Perez's Avengers just at the top of the heap, you know, because Perez was absolutely amazing, you know. But I liked Buscema's because it was a little grittier. Perez's art was really pretty.
Right.
The lines were great, you know, it was like, oh, wow, man, you know, everybody is really, like, everybody looks great, everything looks great, it's pretty. And Buscema's was a little darker, and I want to say, like, lumpier, but it was somewhere in between Kirby and Perez.
Yeah.
You know, it had that kind of dirty Kirby kind of look, you know, but then it also had a lot of clean lines and a lot of really nice stuff. But it depended on who the characters were, you know. And when he drew a Wolverine wasn't, you know, it wasn't that Baby Got Back Mark Silvestri cover, you know, on X-Men. But, you know, and he's like, oh, yeah, and his little cutoff shirt and his cowboy hat and sticking his butt in the, you know. It wasn't that. And, you know, Wolverine wasn't pretty. Wolverine looked like a brawler. I love that. I love that look.
Well, and I think character has a lot to do with it, too. Like, the right artist on the right character.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you don't want Liefeld drawing Captain America.
No, you don't
obviously.
want Liefeld drawing Captain America.
But I put him on Cable any day. And there's not much of a difference between those two characters.
Ooh, man. If he could get rid of the old man receding hair mohawk, I would almost say yes. But I mean, and I think Liefeld was just right for the time that he started.
Right.
You know, and I think he was just right where he was. You know, I don't think he's right for comics anymore.
I think that Liefeld is that bridge, even though that they were contemporaries, he's that bridge between kind of your old school Kirby-esque type artist and the newer McFarlane-inspired type artist. And I know that Liefeld and McFarlane were contemporaries, but really, I think Liefeld's that bridge.
I mean, you know, I would agree with that. And I don't care for his art all the time. You know, he's done some stuff that I think is okay. You know, and I'm not like the biggest fan, but I still think he's a very important piece of comic history.
Right.
You know, and what he did was exceedingly important.
I think he's a much better storyteller than he's ever been given credit for. I think he would be a better writer, script writer, than he is an artist. And I like his art. I'm a big Liefeld fan.
I would disagree with that. I'd have to disagree.
And I would have disagreed with that statement a year ago, that what we're seeing from him lately, just his ideas on how to outline stories and how to build characters and things like that. It's kind of on the subject of the right creator with the right project. What do you think about Detective, the new Detective?
I haven't read it yet. I've not read it yet.
I'm not sure. I'm not
That's
sure
Chip,
that
right? Zdarsky.
Rom V.
No, Rom V. That's right. Chip's on Batman. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I've not read the Rom V stuff, and and
I'm not sure that's the writer for Batman.
Yeah.
He did great on Swamp Thing. I really like that. I really like Layla Starr. Just about any of his indie stuff is really good.
Yeah, he's more of like a sci-fi existential horror guy, in my opinion.
Right.
I haven't read it yet, so I can't speak to the quality of it right now. But I mean, everything I've read that he's done has been good.
Right.
Some of it's been great. Some of it's been good. Some of it I just haven't, bothered with because it's not really in my wheelhouse of interest. But I've heard a lot of really good things, and it continues to sell super well. But I mean, I think that happens anytime a DC book gets a new writer. That first issue will sell like crazy. The second issue will sell well. Third issue will sell pretty well, and then it just goes right back to those sales levels again. Because I mean, I don't know how much editorial interference there is at DC. I'd imagine quite a bit.
Oh, I'm sure.
But thank you. See you guys. But I mean, I really feel like, and I feel like they kind of let people say, oh, okay, do what you want for a couple issues. Bring your ideas in, bring your craziness in, do this, do that. And then after a few issues, then I feel like they say, okay, back to status quo. Because that's kind of how everything reads.
Right. So when I read something by Rom V, and I haven't read a lot of stuff, and I think maybe because I really like Layla Starr.
Mm-hmm. I didn't read that. I've heard great things, but I haven't read it.
Fantastic book. And I really like the Swamp Thing stuff. So I think what happens is he does well with kind of that fantasy, like gods and goddesses type stuff. Right. And he took Swamp Thing in that direction. So a book like anything in the Sandman universe would be fantastic for him to work with. Yeah. But I don't know. To me, they over the last 3 years, Batman as a character in Batman and Detective has become so grounded and so human. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he can really pull that off. And I don't want to explore the gods that Ra's al Ghul prayed to give him information.
Right, yeah.
I don't.
Where I think he would be an amazing fit? I think DC should first off pull their heads out and get Vertigo back. Dump this Black Label stuff, man, because they don't even know what it is. It's been like 4 different things already. First it was the new Vertigo, then it was, it's like, oh, put some superheroes in there. Then everything from Vertigo is reprinted into Black Label. Then they're censoring the Black Label stuff. Then it's just like Team Plus stuff is Black Label, and it's just like I don't understand what it is anymore. And then there's stuff that's like 17 Plus that's not Black Label.
And then their formatting's all over the place.
And their formatting's all over the place, man. Some is the magazine. And some of the magazines are $7.99. Some of the magazine sizes are $6.99. Right. Some of them are thick prestige format, normal diameter books. Normal size comics, but just thicker.
Right.
Some of those are $6.99. Some of them are $8.99. And then some of them are just regular issues that are $4.99 and $3.99. And it's like they don't know. They need to either establish what this is and stick with it, or just scrap the whole thing, get Vertigo back, and I think they need to get Rom V writing a Hellblazer book.
That would be good.
And they need to do anything they can to keep him on that.
That would be big.
Yeah.
That would be Neil Gaiman's Sandman page.
Yes, it would, for sure. I think it would. You know, and they need to quit putting all that stuff under the Sandman banner too, because Hellblazer is not Sandman.
Right.
You know, Books of Magic, yeah, okay, sure. You know, stuff like that. All right, yeah, the Dreaming, it's all Sandman related stuff. But you know, things like Hellblazer, like you know, all the real Vertigo stuff, all that doesn't automatically fold into to Sandman. That's not how it works.
Right. Yeah.
You know, yeah. So I don't know.
But as long as Sandman's successful on Netflix, that's what
They're gonna
do.
brand them. Yeah, they're gonna brand them all. Yeah. Which I haven't seen. I need to see that.
It's really good. I think they did a really good job with it.
I've heard it's a horror series. It's not a fantasy series, which I'm good with because that was my favorite Sandman stuff. I actually didn't care for it. I thought it was still really well done and, you know, really well written, and the art was always nice and everything, you know. But when they started bringing in the more of the magic stuff and less of the horror stuff, and you know, it went from dark horror to dark fantasy, you know, and that's when I kind of lost interest in it.
Yeah. It really does feel like early Sandman, you know, Game of Sandman stuff.
And you know, I mean, this is crazy. Nobody's ever said this before, I don't think, but me. But I liked the Lucifer series more than I liked Sandman.
I think Lucifer's a more intriguing character.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's the one part about these series that I don't think worked as well as it should have.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting huge things. I mean, when they cast Constantine with a female actress, and that's the one everybody was all up in arms over. I was like,
but that is a Constantine.
yeah, but when they cast Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer, I was on board 110%. Because, like, I think she's fantastic in everything she does. And I don't think it's her. I think it's writing just kind of held it back.
Well, but I mean, you know, Lucifer was never. I don't think Lucifer was ever really an integral part of Sandman.
No.
Lucifer was a supporting character that just went off his own way. And I'm wondering how much of that has to do with the fact that they already made a Lucifer show that is just a buddy cop series.
And I love Lucifer, the show Lucifer.
I didn't. I'd rather watch Castle. It's the same thing.
I haven't seen Castle. I should. You would think that I'd watch Castle.
I know, right?
Like, that would be my thing. Try Captain Mountain in it.
Yeah. No, it was Nathan Fillion.
That's Captain Mountain. It'll always be Captain Mountain.
No, it's pronounced Fillion.
Yeah. William Shatner will always be Kirk.
Denny Crane.
I love that show too.
So that's why I wanted to meet him. I didn't care about Star Trek. I wanted to meet Shatner, and I did years ago. Sit down and take a picture and go away. You know.
You've heard of the 7 Degrees to Kevin Bacon?
Mm-hmm.
I can do that with Star Trek.
Yeah.
I can tie anybody to Star Trek in like 7 or 8.
You know what? Yeah. Okay, let's see how good you are with it.
I'm pretty good with it.
Steven Spielberg.
Who's Steven? Oh, that guy.
He did a Jones movie that was set in Indiana with Nazis. Not that action figure, that's Scotty.
Steven Spielberg is the one that did Color Purple with Whoopi Goldberg. Looks like Guinan in Star Trek.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. See, I was thinking Steven Spielberg did E.T., which starred D. Wallace Stone, who was in The Howling, which Robert Picard was in. It was in Star Trek. You did it quicker.
I'm pretty good at it. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Pick of the week. So, for my pick of the week, I'm going with Amazing Fantasy 1000. It was really good.
I thought it was just a stupid gimmick thing, man, but it was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
I thought it was a stupid gimmick thing too. When I came in, I was like joking with you when I came into film yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, what do you think of this? Oh, I'm not gonna buy that piece of trash." And you're like, "Oh, it's pretty good."
Pretty good.
I'm like, "Okay, all right, I'll pick up a copy." and I'll give it a run. I think they did.
It was enjoyable.
I think they did AF a solid tribute.
I did too.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, it really felt to me like old 60s through 80s Spider-Man stories.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't finished it yet. I've still got to do, I think, the last two, including the Neil Gaiman one. But, you know, and I have trepidation about that because I so disliked that Batman story he did.
I don't think I read that one.
Oh man, where I think it was "Where in the World is the Cape Crusader?" or "What happened to the?" or "Where did that guy go with the cape?" or something. I don't know. I can't remember now. But it was like, and it was like a bad '50s Batman story to me. Now it was him going, "Whoa, it's my funeral. What are all my old foes doing at my funeral?" Now, and he's like hovering over, you know. And it was a totally meaningless story.
So kind of like Sinister 60.
I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
I thought that was really funny. I was prepared to think that was really stupid, man, but I thought it was pretty funny.
I think the artwork in this book worked real well for the story.
It did, yeah. Well. I'm not sure if I would love it, all the artwork and other things, but for this, somehow it all worked.
I mean, to paraphrase what you said about another book yesterday, this, like, Eisner season's coming up, and this is not going to be walking away with one.
Mm-hmm.
But for people that read Spider-Man in the 70s and 80s,
yeah,
this is a great trip back to that.
It really is.
Sure.
And I was able to get a whole bunch more coming for next week, too.
Nice, because I might want a couple other covers.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I don't care for the gimmick, the 1000. I think that's kind of stretching.
Yeah.
They should have just called it Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man 60th anniversary or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's the Sinister 60th is what they should have called it.
That would be even better.
That would be funny.
That'd be better than Amazing Fantasy 1000.
Yeah.
The only reason
because
Amazing
Fantasy. So there's only been what, like, it was like what, 12, 13, 14, and 15? Was that the only Amazing Fantasy?
Yeah, because it was adult.
Because it was
fantasy
Amazing Adult
before
Fantasy.
That.
So shouldn't this be Amazing Adult Fantasy 1000?
Amazing Adult Fantasy went up to 14, I think.
Was it all the way up to that?
I think it was all the way up to 14.
The first Amazing Fantasy then was
15.
15, which was Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then they canceled it.
And then they canceled it because they were like, this didn't go in it. No, they canceled it at 15. Wasn't that the last one?
Was it 15?
I think it was the last one. Because that was like their last ditch effort, you know, for Stan Lee. And Stan Lee's like, I got this guy. He's a bug, see? And then they're like, yeah, we don't care. No, he's Spider-Man. It's gonna be great. The kids are gonna dig him. He's scary. He's like a spider. Ooh, you know, whatever. And then that's a direct quote. Yeah, you know, they're like, okay, fine, Stan, shut up and put him in this stupid book that's getting canceled.
Yeah.
And then people did lose their minds over it. And then these days lose their fortune over him trying to get that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, so they did that, and then they put out, because then they put out Amazing Fantasy 16 and 17 and I think 18 in the 90s. And they were like the square-bound, you know, it was just like, hey, Spider-Man miniseries, but we're going to call it Amazing Fantasy because we're funny.
Right.
So there's, 4 issues?
Yeah.
And then they did, 20 issues with Aranya and Amadeus Cho and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So we're looking like 23, 24 issues, maybe. Maybe 30 issues if you want to stretch it, because Amazing Adult Fantasy was not that series. They've only done a couple dozen of them, huh?
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like they took Amazing Adult Fantasy, and this is a guess. I don't know how they came up with this number, but I'm guessing they took Amazing Adult Fantasy, Amazing Fantasy, the first one, then the 3 they put in the 90s, then the second series, then all the Amazing Spider-Man, added it up and said, 1,000. I think that's what they did.
They must have.
Or they just said, we need to charge $8 for something this month. Yeah. it's the last. It's the fifth Wednesday. We need our $8 for a book, you know.
I mean, it's a little gimmicky to me.
And it worked.
And it's sad that they had to throw that to put a tarnish on such a great book.
Yeah, but you know, at the same time though, that gimmick had a lot of people picking it up that usually
Yeah.
didn't. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah, that helped, I think.
And it gives them another 1,000 book to put Mickey Mouse on the cover of.
Yeah,
I mean, it's coming. You know it's coming.
yeah.
D23 Investment Day next year. Mickey Mouse swinging, holding Donald Duck under his arm. Something crazy.
Let's move on.
All right.
Okay, my pick of the week. I've got my pick of the week this time. I read a bunch of stuff this week.
Nice.
This I wasn't expecting that much from. Phantasmagoria from Scout Black Caravan / Scout / whatever the thing is there. Ooh, spooky. And I was just kind of expecting that to be another. I like the Black Caravan horror books. I do. Don't get me wrong for a second.
Right.
But I was expecting it to just be another, here's something, this is fun, and, it's forgettable an issue or two after, like an anthology, or, whatever's going on there. This is much more in-depth than I thought it was going to be. There's a lot more story there. It is a black and white Victorian horror story. It's got, I'm going to guess, I just kind of spelled it out, but kind of not. Jack the Ripper pops up in it. There's like dark magic stuff. There's just it's really cool. It's really, really neat. And I was thinking I'd flip through it in 10 minutes and be like, it was fun. But it was a good 20-25 minute read because it was dense. It was packed with a lot of stuff. It was a lot more than I expected, so I was very happy with it.
Well, I'm a big fan of all the books. I don't know if you get the emails from them with the previews. But
I do, but I have a hard time reading PDFs.
And the one that they sent on this, they were talking about the book and comparing it to the old Phantasmagoria, the old like 70s pulp magazine, horror magazine.
Very much, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of that stuff. And I got a pretty impressive collection of it. But and I just don't want to read something that's going to tarnish that. And that's the reason I haven't read it yet. So
I don't think it does. I think it tributes it more than it tarnishes it.
Maybe I'll take 30 minutes tonight and open it up, that email, and give it a read through.
Yeah, check it out.
See if it's worth coming in and buying the floppy.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course.
It's I was gonna say, it's up to you, sir. I just want to make you happy in almost any way I can.
Alrighty.
Okay. Almost.
That sounds good. I think I'll give it a run. See if I like it.
A lot of the I don't know if it's the art style or the feel, but a lot of it reminds me. And a difficult relationship with From Hell and Eddie Campbell, but a lot of it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. It sort of gives that vibe off of the, again, the sort of Victorian horror kind of,
kind of like reading a Hammer movie.
Yeah, kind of is. Yeah,
that's the kind of stuff I really dig.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like reading a Hammer movie. Yeah,
right on. Okay. All right, I'll give that a try. Alrighty. So, went over again. We always do.
Yeah.
Make sure that you... Okay, we're going to try that again. Alright, make sure you tune in.
Yes.
Tune in every Monday when you can watch Everything's Late, Nobody Dies. And every Wednesday we come to you live from Black Cat, where we go down the wall, show you all the new books that are on the wall for the week. Greg is so kind to let me in a few minutes early so we don't get disturbed.
Except by the EPS guy.
But
that's okay, because we need stuff.
and he's dropping off books that are
and bags of boards
that are probably late.
Yeah, right. And contains people that don't die,
and nobody's dead, so it works out. But make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about our books that we've shown off. And if you have any questions for a long-time local comic shop owner, he's sitting right here. He's more than happy to answer just about anything that you might ask that keeps his pants on.
Yeah. Oh, and also, what else you got? Gotta ring the bell. Gotta ring the bell. Gotta ring the bell and subscribe now, dude.
Okay. Ring the bell to get notifications. We'll see you next time, traders.
Ding.